All right, my name is Tim Richards. I am designer and owner of Rich Studios in Valley Stream. And today we're doing an interview with All the Rage TV, so let's get into it. It's a long story. I actually started like 3 brands when I was in high school. I didn't know what I was doing. I was playing football at the time, so I wasn't taking it serious. But at the end of the year, senior year, I started getting into clothes more, trying to put pieces together. So I first started out with KOTD, and then I did another brand called Never Average because I didn't know what my niche was. And then I started making anime pics and graphics. I'm like, hold on, this might look fine in clothing. Did that, and then we got Rich Studios. So I used to do a lot of Dragon Ball Z graphics. Like I'll make them black or Latino or different ethnicities. And then I'm like, I can draw again. So let me try to make my own characters, and then I just started doing characters that look like me. I say I'll draw most of my inspiration from mostly all the anime shows. Like I might slaughter his name, but one of the most known animators is Toriyama. So growing up, like anime was like from the late 80s, 90s. So I already knew who this guy was, and I always used to try to imitate his drawings. So it just came natural. Right now, I'm trying to do my own type of style, so it's kind of hard doing all that. I thought it would be a cool idea to put streetwear and anime together because I feel like there's a lot of dudes out here that's like me. I wouldn't call myself hood, but urban. So it's a lot of urban dudes that don't show their anime side. I'm like, I can put two together and make something new. And it's not a lot of streetwear brands that's doing anime and streetwear. And if they are, they just put in a known anime character like Goku on a t-shirt and calling it streetwear. I feel like what makes me different is it's not completely focused on anime too at the same time. It's incorporated. So I don't know if you guys ever heard of like brands like Capital or anything, but I'll incorporate anime with those type of genes. So even if you don't know anime, you're going to buy that product. Like you don't even have to be a fan. So I think that's what sets me different. I'm apart from other brands because I have so many people that don't know a lick about anime that's going to buy from my brand. I started customizing and designing my own clothes in middle school. A lot of people don't know I got bullied a lot. Well, I wouldn't say bullied, but like the type of clothes I was wearing, it wasn't like the status. Like I was wearing like N1 US Polo Assassin. You know how those jokes was, oh, he got the fake polo on. So me trying to be different from everybody else, I was like, all right, I'm going to spray paint these shoes, throw some paint on these pants. Or at one point I was like coloring my Elite socks, like the little white bars on the back, because I knew I couldn't afford the newest fly clothes. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to do damn, I can't talk. I'm gonna have to do what I can right now until I have that money to get the clothes I want. So that's how it all started. It just kept getting bigger and bigger as I got older. I feel like I evolved like every year. Like my style changes because you also gotta keep up with the world too, because you know some styles just get left behind, but they always come back. I'll say like going back in my old pictures, I can see like I still keep the same style, but it's like it's an upgrade version of that. Like I still like bright colors, but I'll mix it with darker tones so it's not too bright or crazy. When I first started making clothes, it was just mostly like people I knew, like friends and family. So I really didn't have a big audience until I started going to 5 Points. So being in 5 Points, that's like an urban city. Like everybody wears clothes or some type of streetwear. So I started going out there, and then I was wearing my custom pieces, like clothes and custom sneakers and stuff. It was like, yo, bro, where'd you get those sneakers? So I always had business cards on hand. So I started passing cards out there. And honestly, my audience grew because of my sneaker business. Well, my sneaker and customizing and restoring business. So the audience from that, they was like, yo, Tim, he customized my shoe, but you know he made clothes. So a lot of it was word by mouth, and everybody's telling their friends and their family, oh, he does this and he also can probably make you a hoodie or something too to go along with those sneakers. So that was my marketing. Like, I was just running around, going to different places, meeting new people. Right now, I'm trying to do social media marketing. That's like the toughest thing right now because everybody's trying to make clothes. Like, I feel like everybody in Atlanta is trying to make clothes at this point. So you have to really set yourself apart, especially like on apps like TikTok and Instagram. Like, you have to show some great content in order to pull in new audience. And I struggle with that. Like, that's not my greatest strength too. So it's a big pain because your marketing can make or break you. And I say the biggest problem what people face with social media, people be afraid to post what they want. With me, I'm like, bro, post whatever the fuck you want. I'm allowed to curse? I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, but post whatever you want. Like, don't be scared because that might be the post that take you up. So like with me, like if you ever see my personal page is like my own what they call it, dump pages. Like, I'm posting whatever I want. And then people would DM me, was like, bro, I love your aesthetic, bro. Like, it's like I could see inside your mind. And I'm like, bro, don't be afraid to show who you are, because that's why I have a lot of customers now, because I'm such a friendly person. Like, people think they knew me for years, and we just only talked for like 20 seconds. Because I feel like I can, what's the word I'm looking for? We just have so much in common. Like, I can understand them on the same level type stuff. Being a friendly person can get you a long way, and talking to people like they're actual human beings, because it's a lot of designers I met in Atlanta they act Hollywood. Like, chill, bro. You gotta chill, because nobody's not gonna like that attitude. I wouldn't work with you, honestly. Only collaboration, well, clothing wise, is with one of my closest friends. He has a brand called Cathletics. He has like a lot of influence with like rappers like what's her name? Love Enchanted, Lil Key, well, RIP Lil Key, but Lil Guided, a lot of Atlanta rappers. So he actually is the reason why my brand has blown up as much, because he'll put me on what these artists is and give him my clothes or whatever, because he stay in my clothes. Like, I'm pretty much his stylist. So he was like, yo, Tim, let me borrow this shirt. I was like, bro, take whatever you need, and if you with one of your rapper friends, just give it to them. I don't care, no cause. Just give it to them, let them put them on, and then tell them to tag me or whatever. I guess you can call it collabs, but I've done a lot of pop-up shops with people I know. So I guess you could call that a collab. I know there's a problem with that, because those people forget that those brands have the status to put any logo on the t-shirt, because everybody knows what Gucci is. So Gucci could put a G on a t-shirt and people are going to go crazy. If you're a random person from DeKalb County trying to do the same thing, no one's going to buy your brand because they don't know who you are. So that's why you have to do those graphics. And when you would mention that you like how I do my own graphics, I feel like it's better as a designer to make your own stuff. It might not come out perfect. You might be able to work with somebody else. You might have to not export, that's not the word I want to say, but you might have to outsource your work to somebody else so they can bring your vision together. But you have to know at least a little bit of everything, because I'm like me personally, I can't make everything myself. Like hoodies, like this hoodie, for example, I know how to sew, but I'm not going to be able to make it as clean as it looks, so I'm gonna have to go to a manufacturer. But because I know all the details that go into, I can tell my manufacturer exactly how I want the stuff. Some people go in with no knowledge, and then they don't try to do no research. And now those are the designers that fail. And then I try to tell people, like, Google and YouTube are my best friend. I call it YouTube University, because I've learned literally everything on YouTube. And a lot of people ask me, like, oh, you must have went to SCAD. I was like, no. Like, I dropped out of, like, a lot of people don't know, I dropped out of Georgia State, like, first month, because I was like, this is not what I want to do. Like, I was trying to be a business administration major or whatever it was, and I was like, I might go to SCAD, but nah, that's more money. I was like, I can literally, you can learn everything by researching, Google, YouTube, go to the library, something. There's always information that you can look up. Because how we grew up, we're pretty much like, hey, we're teaching you everything you need to do to work a 9 to 5. That's pretty much schoolwork. Like, you're basically like a robot. Like, you need to be able to, they're training us to go all day working. That's it. Instead of the things we actually need to succeed in life. Like, I feel like if school was more hands-on for me, I probably would have, instead of trying to go to a university school, I probably would have went to trade school first, learning a actual useful skill like plumbing, being an electrician. And schools these days, they don't teach, well, they wasn't teaching us that. They might be doing it now because people are growing up like, hey, I was taught the wrong things, so let me teach the next generation up that there's more things than being a lawyer or a doctor or whatever, because it's not for everybody. Because if it was for everybody, then we'd probably be in a bigger recession than we in now. I say my biggest challenges is being scared to take that risk and do what's on your mind. So when I say that, like, let's say I have this idea and I know I can get it done, but it might cost like $2,000 to buy it or buy the materials I need. And I'm like, hey, there's a possibility that you don't make this money back and you got a bill next month. So what are you going to do? Either you're going to be like, I'm not going to do that idea, or you're going to be like, I believe that I can make profit off this and continue with it and get it done. So that's my, that's still a struggle. 'Cause I've gotten better with it over the time, but that's a huge struggle. And then I don't like asking for help. So let's say I have, like, it was one time I had 50 orders to do and it needed to get out in like 2 days because with Shopify, they give you a date when you should fulfill your orders. And I was already behind and I did not want to ask anybody I knew for help. So I stayed up past 7 a.m. knowing I had to go to work the next morning, trying to do everything myself and not asking for help. So I say for like any upcoming designer, always find yourself a team, because you can only be a one-man army for so long. You're gonna have to start bringing in people that know that have those strengths in the regions you don't have strengths in. Like, I'll probably need to get somebody for marketing or a photographer or a graphic designer. So because once my brand is over that threshold of 100+ orders a week, not one person can't do that. That's impossible. So I'll say those are my 2 main struggles. Before you come out with your brand, create a business plan. Because I didn't create a business plan when I went in. I was just doing stuff. I was just buying. I was like, I got to get this material, got to get this. I was just buying stuff. I didn't actually create a business plan until I had Rich Studios. Well, until before I dropped out, because I had to come to my parents with a plan. It was like, all right, we understand school's not for you, but what is your plan? So create a business plan. Research how much everything costs. Like, you don't want to go down the line and then everything is just surprising you. Find your niche of the type of clothes you want, because a lot of I see a lot of brands, they copy each other. So like, you got to be different if you want to make it in this world with a clothing brand. Like I said before, find out like every detail about fashion. Is even not just even streetwear, but like business wear, women's wear. Like, I just started looking into women's wear and finding out like the different sizes and stuff, because women, they got different sizes than us. Like, they be doing, I'm like, what is not 8 youth, but like they have like 2 different sizes for women. I forgot what it was, but like, learn everything you possibly can before releasing that clothing brand, because you want as much knowledge as you can. You're gonna still learn stuff because you're gonna meet people in this line of work that knows way more than you. And then the biggest thing is networking. Like talking to people, don't be scared to ask questions. Like, shoot, I'll say like talk to anybody you see that looks like they have the slightest interest in clothing, and just talk to them. Cause I've met some people, like I met somebody at a sneaker convention that had his own sneaker store, and now I send clothes to his store, and he has me do pop-ups. So you never know who you meet out here, especially in Atlanta. Like, we're like the Hollywood of the South. I talk about this a lot with my dad. So because I didn't grow from the best income family, like we were from the hood. I'm from New York. I'm originally from New York. So Long Island's like a borough outside of New York City. So I grew up around crime. So being in that area and not having that much money for clothes and stuff. So we used to go to this place called Stephen Barry's that used to have like I don't know if you know who Stephon Marbury is, but places like that, Ben Wallace, and they used to sell clothes for like $12, sneakers $12. So I want to be able to give back to those kids and sell my clothes for that much, if possible. I know like with inflation and stuff, I'm not gonna be able to sell a t-shirt for $5, but I want to be able to make my brand affordable for everyone and give back. It's sort of like in a non-profit way, because I know like every kid wants to be fly or have clothes that make them feel good. So I want to be able to do that for my community. And then also I want to be able to teach them business way. It doesn't have to be clothing way, but it can be more entrepreneur skills to them so they can have more options out there when they're ready to get out in the world. Because I didn't have that in high school. I had to pretty much figure out everything on my own.